Biden has prevailed. I'm joined by Robert Weiner, former spokesman for the Clinton and Bush White Houses in Washington and senior staffer to Senator Ted Kennedy. Robert, what's your reaction to this moment?
Well, it's about time. Joe Scarborough from the United States on MSNBC was saying it should have happened days ago. The data was there, but all the media were scared by Trump's rants and raves, and even his latest tweet today when he heard the reaction when after CNN and MSNBC and BBC and AP announced it, his tweet is, "I won by a lot." He's going to be America's latest McCarthy. He's going to go down in history as bad for his demagoguery, and he will have a horrible reputation in the history books. I bet he's not even calling Biden and congratulating him. In fact, everybody says that's not going to happen. So, as Pelosi said, we may have to fumigate him out.
I mean, what do you think Biden will be thinking now as he sits with Kamala Harris? This vote have been called, but also having to navigate, unusually not, it looks like a smooth transition of power, but a couple of months before January in which Trump is just up to every trick in the book. What's going on in that? You've been there. You've been a staffer with these folks. What are they thinking?
I've been the spokesman for the House Government Operations Committee, the House Aging Committee. Before I was in the Clinton and Bush White Houses. I'm going to read you, because I think it's kind of fun, a very short statement that I sent to my cousin who said, "What's going on?" Kind of your reaction. He's a really smart cousin, Dick Weiner, and his son, Alan Weiner. Here's what I said. McConnell will reboot and help with the predictable bills for infrastructure and fixing health care and virus relief, including to small businesses and workers' unemployment, because a lot of Republican senators also want that. They will all run from Trump now as fast as they can by non-statements like McConnell just made on counting the votes. He said to do it, while ignoring Trump's bluster, malicious but irrelevant lawsuits on it. Like your dad, I am hopeful of bipartisanship, and McConnell cares about this, about his and the Senate's reputation. Actually, he's done that in the past, but Trump has been a negative on it. Now he's gone. Even Congress, regardless of parties with a new president, starts by trying to look cooperative. I think that attitude and hope is why the stock market bounced back. That was my little unofficial and now very official, because I've said it to LBC Radio, statement this morning.
Thank you. And what kind of foreign policy do you think we can expect from Biden? We're all obviously here in the UK. We're thinking of a future trade deal with the United States of America, our ongoing commitment to NATO, the EU, climate change. What can we expect from Biden? Because surely it's going to be different to Donald Trump.
It's going to be completely different. The first thing every president does of a different party is kill the executive orders of the previous guy. It's day one. He'll do it all. We'll go back into the Paris Accord. We'll go back into the Iran nuclear deal. And there will be healing, and not what the headline is in the Washington Post today, that the world is exasperated and looking forward to a rational discourse once again. That's what's going to happen. And so we're very, very excited about you know, there was a president who ran on a return to normalcy. That's number one that Biden will do. Number two, I think it will be very much like Gerald Ford said after Nixon, our long national nightmare is over. And the world feels the same way. I remember so closely, David, that when your parliament voted to not let Trump come because of his extremist views and dissing everybody. And I don't know how that got reversed unless it was some deal with Boris Johnson. But your parliament was smart and voted him out.
Absolutely. But, you know, we are where we are. What will the reaction from Republican voters be across the states? This is important because, of course, there are fears globally. We look at some of the unrest that we've seen in the United States. We look at Donald Trump's tweets, and of course you can have some humor towards them, but actually this is serious stuff. And there are serious folk out there who feel disenfranchised by this moment, who feel that they believe what they're being told by Donald Trump. No evidence, but they believe it. Should we be worried about protest and violence? I mean, what will the reaction be from some of those Republican voters?
Well, there was violence by the Boogie Boys and the Proud Boys and all of that, the right-wing nut groups that actually were the ones that caused the violence in the Black Lives Matter protests and were the ones that did the looting and the trashing so that it would look like it was the actual Black Lives Matter social justice people. There are so few of those, David. There are so few actual people that don't believe it. There's going to be a Republican intervention. I'm sure that President Bush will make a statement. I'm sure that others will, leaders. I think McConnell and others will tell Trump to shut the H up in a nice way. They'll go over to the White House. They'll call. And, Trump has been pushing this violence thing ever since he said, I'll pay the legal fees during his campaigns of the people that created it. And he surrounded the Biden campaign bus with his cars to try to block them from getting to the polls. So he's going to try all that, but he's diminishing. He's going to be, the great diminishing figure who sort of finally is sort of ranting into the wind.
And look, do you think we're going to hear from Joe Biden soon?
I think you'll hear from him today.
Right.
This is the day. He gave a mini speech yesterday. See, he was too gracious to say, come on, networks, you see the data. You know that there's no progression that could take Trump there. You know I'm winning all of the absentee ballots that are coming in. You know those are legal votes. What the H are you doing? What did you expect, a speech like that from him? No, he's gracious, which is a really good sign for the future. So he will continue to talk about healing. He will talk about, I am a president for all Americans. That's very important. By the way, there was a very strong Republican contingent. Don't forget that Biden won by 4 million votes, more than Hillary actually had, and she didn't get the Electoral College. Biden has, and by the way, he's also going to win Arizona, Nevada, Georgia. This is going to be in the area of 305, not 270 when all is said and done. So this is I would call it a mandate, 4 million votes and a clear majority in the Electoral College, and but he will not rub his nose into Trump. He will talk about now it's time to go forward.
And the real hope is that he will be able to go forward because, of course, unlike nearly every other country in the world, there is this very lengthy transition. It goes on for a couple of months. He doesn't actually become president until January.
Yes, but he becomes the leader, and he's recognized as that, and his message counts for a lot. When Trump first sort of won, although I don't give it because of the Russians and the voter suppression and the Comey note and all of that. I'm kind of with John Lewis on the fact that he never was a legitimate president. But he also pulled people together into some legislation at the very beginning. And every president does that, so Biden will also. And there's so much to do. There's not only fixing the virus and crushing it, as Pelosi says, and using science, not some quack doctor who wants to do herd mentality and kill everybody. So and avoid masks and just keep everybody. The United States can now save hundreds of thousands of lives by Biden's message. So that's number one. Relief to the small businesses. Number two, Republicans will go along with that, by the way, now. That's going to be a compromise matter. As I said, infrastructure, in my little statement to my family, right? Infrastructure is something that's been bipartisan, and I wrote a piece in the Philadelphia Inquirer, Mr. President, where's that infrastructure plan? And all that developed he was annoyed enough to do another of his 5 infrastructure weeks, but nothing happened.
Robert, I'm going to cut you, Robert, because there is so much to get through. I'm very, very grateful for you joining us.